What you gonna do with the money?
Go ahead, you ask. Don't cut that in, they'll use that as a tease. Go ahead.
Hustlers.
Hustlers.
I very much liked it.
Thank you.
Thought it was really great. It was really fun.
Is it true? I heard you saw it twice or once?
I've seen it once.
Okay,
What?
okay.
Who told you that?
Somebody told me you saw it twice, and I was very flattered.
I got the link to watch it, and I was gonna watch it again yesterday, but I didn't get around to it.
Okay, no,
yet.
it's fine. It's fine.
But I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah, that's great.
I saw it in the theaters, and I
Yes.
really, really enjoyed it, and it was packed.
Thank you.
Which is always nice.
Always great.
What was I gonna ask? I think I should ask you about what you were just talking about. Why do you think, if Hustlers was directed by a man, it would be different?
I think it would be so different if it was directed by a man. First of all, I think when men think of strippers, they think of it in a different way than women do.
How?
In that, you know, I think what Hustlers exposed was that men have a very secret life that they think women don't know about. And they have a way that they think and look at women that is very sexual all the time, that is very objectified a lot of the time. And they think we don't know about that. And in this environment of these clubs where you can be free in that, where men are allowed to kind of let that go and not have to cover it up all day, you really get to see that we know the secret. And I think if that was in the hands of a man, it would have been more careful for the men and a little bit less careful for the women. And we wouldn't have got, being that these were female protagonists, that there were women at the center of the story, it had to be the opposite. It had to be the opposite. You had to understand what it is to be a woman and to feel the things that a woman feels when a man looks at her in a certain way or treats her in a certain way. And I think Lorene Scafaria, the director, was really great in that she didn't treat either one too preciously. She told it really how it was from the women and from the men. So it was a non-judgmental lens. Whereas I think from a man, it would have been a little bit more like these women would have been judged a little bit by them. Just because I think men put women in categories. And so...
Sweeping statements, Jesus.
By the way, when I speak like this, I don't mean every man. I don't mean every man. I mean in general.
I think you're probably right, too.
Probably right. You know what? Now that I think about it, Jen, you nailed it. But yeah, I think it just would have been really different. It would have been a very different movie.
Do you worry if you're going to play a part that could have negative connotations to the audience when you first read it? Like, if you're worried, did you worry that, like, you know, I mean, it's not exactly the greatest of things that they're doing.
No, they're awful. They're awful. Do awful things.
Were you worried about doing a part like that?
As an actress, no. Like, the actress in me just looks at it on the page and goes, oh, it's gonna be so much to sink my teeth into. I've never done anything like this. She's a stripper. She's also, like, really unapologetic. She's a little bit of a pimp. Like, there's so much going on that I've never explored before. And then there's Jennifer the mom, and Jennifer the public person, and Jennifer, you know, all these other things, and yeah, I think I go through all of those silos and think about it. But in the end, for me, the artist always wins out because that's what I love to do. And at the end of the day, that is what I'm doing. I don't see it as like, this is a statement about my life or the things that I believe. I started out as an actress to play amazing roles and do different things and explore different ways of life and transform myself into different people. Like, I enjoy that. That's so much fun for me. And just in little subtleties and nuances, you know, that I didn't, even though I knew I was playing a stripper who was drugging people and taking advantage of people and stealing, I found that exciting, you know, to be very honest.
Do you think it's impossible to judge any character's actions once you start trying to play them do you think it's
I
impossible?
think you have to love them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, you know, as an actor 101, the first thing is you love that character, and you justify all the things they're doing, and you find a way to make it the right thing to do in that moment, or whatever the circumstances are. You know what I'm saying. You're an amazing actor, and so you understand that you have to embrace fully the life of that person.
Do you think, though, that you're by trying to understand a character who's not necessarily behaving in the greatest of ways, you're imbuing them with your own empathy, and then as you're embodying them, you're thinking like, oh, because I've figured out a way to empathize with this character's actions, then they must have empathy themselves. Or is that just you projecting your own empathy onto that character?
I think there's a part of it where you're just projecting your own empathy onto it, because in real life, it's not something you would do. It's in real life, it's not a place that you would go to, right? You know the difference, but you know as an actor that you have to empathize with them. You have to understand them. You have to know the reasons why they're doing what they're doing and truly believe in the choice, right, that they're making, and make it real for yourself. So what you do, you take some of what maybe experiences that you have that are similar, I find really works for me, and where I'm like, well, this is a little bit like when I did this or I did that, and it's so far away, but at least the essence of the emotion is there, and the essence of the reasoning is there, that you can understand it a little bit better. But yeah, I think it's more that you project onto it as opposed to like.
It's like
really? I get why they did this. I would have done this too.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. I think they're actually a
Actually,
really
when
good
I
person.
saw Ramona for the first time on screen, because I had such a good time playing her, it was so much fun to play somebody who was such a fucking badass and who really didn't care about anything but the money. You know, and about what she wanted, and didn't care what their circumstances were or anything like that. And that kind of descended for her as the movie went on. When I first saw the movie, the first screening, they were like, oh, come see the screen. I'm like excited. I'm like, oh, first cut, let's see what it's like. I was sick to my stomach. I was like, oh my God, she is so, what? And what are they doing? Oh my God, this is awful. What, am I part of this? And then I had to remove myself from it, because when I watch a movie like Goodfellas or, you know, Boogie Nights or something, where you delve into one of these underground worlds, these kind of seedy, kind of underground, dangerous but sexy, enticing worlds, where you get caught up in doing bad things and it's a slippery slope, you really feel that that pull, you know, that pull that they have.
It always looks way sexier in movies. Whenever you're in like a seedy kind of.
Yeah, but
it's
you
always
have to,
like, it always smells weird. It's just like, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Well, when you read it in the script, you're like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then you're there doing it, like you said, and you're walking around with, like, in your new movie, a gas mask on your face every day. And you're like, what am I doing?
Can't say that. It's supposed to be secret.
Okay, cut that out. From here, you can do the carousel. Put your head back. Come down. You can do Peter Pan. Knee hook. Just spin. So, The Lighthouse. Incredible performance. Incredible performance and a transformation for you. For you, when you read the script, what was it about it that made you think, yeah, this is the next one I'm gonna do? Because it's a risky film, black and white, you know, Hitchcockian, also very, you know, two characters, mostly the whole entire thing. It's a super indie type feel. So it's not like the most commercial of films, obviously, but what made you think like this feels like a good idea?
I mean, probably the same thing that appealed to you about Hustlers. Like, you're thinking, like, oh, I could be a stripper and stuff, and like drugging people. I'm like, get to like have sex with a mermaid and like just constantly naked, like weird. Like I have a cool mustache.
Yeah.
Like, no. No, I mean it was kind of really. It was really, really, really original and something kind of. I read it. I love finding something where I have absolutely no idea how to do it, and there's nothing in it. I don't know how to do stuff I don't really approach parts if there's something relatable, mainly because I don't really know. If I was just going after parts which just seemed somehow relatable to my real life self, it would just be consistently playing just chronically insecure losers.
Oh my God.
Not exactly the best career in the world. I think that it wouldn't last if it was not really much of a career.
No, but it was something that you felt like you could really sink your teeth into. I think that's what people don't understand about actors and their choices, is that that's what it's about. It's about finding something you haven't done that you feel when you watch on film will be exciting to see or do.
Yeah, and it's also something, it's kind of, you can explore an area of your personality, but it might not even necessarily, I think every part is somewhere in your mind, but like, it's like with something like, I was trying to find for years to do a ballet movie, and my agent was like, why? Do you know how to ballet? Do you know how to do ballet? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, surely there has to be some kind of connection. I'm like, no, but I know I really want to do it.
Like, but why? Why, Bobby? Tell us why.
I think that's just, I don't know, maybe there's just
There's something fascinating to you about the world,
really,
or being
I think there's just
male
a ballerina inside me.
You do have a female gaze.
Come out.
Yeah, there's a ballerina in there.
But yeah,
needs to dance.
But I think there's something about doing that, finding that movie when I was like, it was kind of not completely regardless of what the story was, but I really wanted to do it just so you can kind of, even though you're being filmed and it's going to have this big audience and blah, 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 and eventually people are going to see it, there's something very, very protected about shooting the actual movie, and it's kind of like,
it's a safe place.
Like I would never, for instance, actually get a job as a stripper. But I probably would play a stripper in a movie.
Right, and maybe. Even that was terrifying. Right, so God. You can imagine what being a stripper is like, right?
Oh my God. No. But I'm sure some people love it. I mean, it's I can imagine.
It's a way of life for a lot of people.
And also, like, I mean, it's kind of, there must be some kind of beneficial aspects of it. Like, you get people just being like, you're really hot.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, well, every day. It's like, I mean, it's kind of,
old.
Yeah, it probably gets old after a while.
Sound like a goddamn parody. Giving and nagging orders like a sprinster school mom, when all the while giving the station and this devil's old role yourself. Well, it's all horseshit.
Can you tell us a little bit what it was like making The Lighthouse and working with William Dafoe and the director? And
we made it in this tiny little town called Cape Forshue in southern Nova Scotia, and there was just nothing. It was a tiny little fishing village, and Robert Eggers, the director, he built this 70-foot lighthouse. I mean, you would never be able to tell. Every single set in the movie is kind of built, and the interiors were built as well, on location, to such exacting, period-correct specifications that you could open up every little drawer, and somehow they'd found cutlery from the lighthouse department in like 1880. Like, I mean, everywhere you looked, it was insane, and the costumes and everything. But yeah, we
looked amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing at production design, and also we're shooting on lenses from the 20s on black and white negative as well. Like, I mean, everything about it was.
No, and you felt that. You felt that even just when you first watched the trailer. You're like, what? This is like such a different feel.
Yeah, and also the kind of aspect ratio. When you see it in the theater, it's very, very strange. It's in that kind of square aspect ratio. So when I saw one of the screenings the other day, and it's bizarre to go in a theater and you're so used to everything being widescreen, and you're suddenly watching everything in this little box, and it just feels. It's funny. It just feels so striking that you go. I mean, it's only you're just watching it in a smaller screen, and it suddenly feels like something very new and kind of alien. But yeah, we sort of basically spent every day under a rain machine, and shoveling.
What's that like?
coal.
I mean, I know your character kind of descends into insanity as it goes, but it feels like the way that he set it up, the director, and the way he did it. And did you guys stayed there in that town, obviously somewhere, and kind of stayed in that mindset the whole time?
I mean, I don't really. I mean, it's kind of. I think it's one of those parts where you could see in the script that it was a kind of no limit part, which I always really like. There's nothing, you can't really go crazy enough.
There's nothing you can't do that maybe couldn't happen.
Yeah, you can't
couldn't
max
really
out.
be used.
Yeah. And so I think we do these completely wild scenes, and then, I mean, literally after a take, you'll be so, I mean, it's...
Exhausted.
You're kind of exhausted, but it's very cathartic. Kind of, you're kind of, you know, I don't know how you'd be able to like bring the part home. It'd be impossible. But yeah, it was...
Because I feel like some younger actors, they like feel like they need to stay in it all the time. And as I've, you know, done movies for many years now, it's like I can't wait for the end of the day to kind of let it go and go home and wash, like literally, like get in the shower and wash it all off.
So I always say about people who do method acting, you only ever see people doing the method when they're playing an asshole.
That's funny.
They literally.
You're funny. You're a funny person.
You never see someone just being lovely to everyone, going like, I'm really deep in character.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, that's so funny.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get it. I get it with kind of things like accent and stuff, kind of.
A little bit.
Yeah, but like, not really. I think it's kind of...
That's refreshing to hear.
I think it's really stressful to be going around just...
Totally.
Like,
and also taking yourself that seriously. Like, acting is serious. I love that part of it. But it's true. It's like you don't have to be this kind of brooding actor off screen, which is like, gives everybody kind of a bad
insecurity.
name. I think it is.
I mean, there's definitely some people who, I mean, the level you have to be at to like... I mean, I work with... There's a movie called Good Time a few years ago where one of the directors was playing my brother in it, and he could stay in character for the entire day. And but it's the only person I've ever seen who can do it. And it's so impressive, but like kind of, it's just like,
a little bit crazy.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, I'm literally like, and he was directing me as well.
Everybody has a different process too, right? Everybody has a different process, but.
Yeah, I mean, I need that moment. I need to know when you're on stage and when you're off stage. I need to know that, like, between action and cut, it's like, that's the thing, and that's the safe place. And
also the place where you can just play. Play so much.
I think I need to know it ends as well. I need to know that there's a cut coming, and then I feel safer. If it just feels like,
you can't get out.
You can't get out, then that's when you go crazy.
Right. Then you're really the lighthouse guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. We don't want that. We want this guy, and then we want the guy at the lighthouse. Yes.
You think you're so goddamn high and mighty just because you're a goddamn lighthouse keeper? Well, you ain't a captain no ship, and you never was. You ain't no general. You ain't no copper. You ain't the president, and you ain't my father.
How, so you produced Hustlers.
I did.
What made you, when did you come on as a producer, and what made you want to produce it?
First of all, I love producing. I've been producing for a while, and we develop a lot of things, but this one actually was a part that my producing partner, Lane Goldsmith-Thomas, heard about, and she approached the other producer, Jessica Elbaum, who had optioned the actual article and gave it to Lorene to write, Lorene Scafaria. And so when we came on, when she gave it to me and I read it, she goes, I think there's a really good role here for you. And I was like, all right. And she was like, it's a stripper. I was like again, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just give it to me. If it feels like it's something that's good, I want to read it. And so I read it and I was like, oh yeah, I want to meet the director because I hadn't heard of her and wanted to see what her take was, because I had a real sense of, like, I love movies where there's a world and then it's talking about the actual whole world. So it works on many different levels, right? And so I wanted to make sure that, that whole idea of the Wall Street guys and them stealing and doing exactly what these women were doing, but getting away with it, and these women not getting away with it, was really interesting to me. And so we sat down and we talked about it, and once I signed on, I was like, we'd love to produce this with you. And we were at one studio and then wound up having to take it to other studios. And so the producing process became actually a much, more in-depth thing than just signing on, becoming a producer on something and helping make the movie, yes, and make all the choices that go along with casting and, putting together the crew and all of the key people and things like that. But this was definitely something that became kind of an uphill trudge and battle to get made.
Why do you think audiences like you doing this kind of part so much?
I think they like to see me a little bit bad. They're used to seeing me, I've done Selena and Out of Sight and a lot of romantic comedies, and they like that.
You know what I love of yours, which I think is such an amazing movie, is The Cell.
Oh, thank you.
The Cell is such a dope movie.
Yeah, I mean, Tarsem is a real visionary. Yeah, he's an amazing
And that movie
director.
still really holds up as well, even the effects and everything.
Yeah.
That's still one of the scariest. When Vincent D'Onofrio is coming down, he first sees you and you turn around and press the little button.
No, it's crazy.
It's still
chilling.
Like, oh my God.
It's chilling. And to be caught in that world, again, it's like creating these worlds where people, their imagination goes wild. And
so cool.
Yeah. I lost what we were talking about. Oh, the other movies. I think people, you said, why do people like me in this role? I think people want to see me tough and strong and bad, I think a little bit, because they're used to seeing me a certain way. And when they saw this, they were like, oh. I think also, like, we've been developing a script for Griselda Blanco, who's kind of like a drug queen pin. And she, a real character. And that got the same type of response that Hustlers did when people found out I was doing Hustlers. So I think they just like, they like a little bit of gangster in their Jennifer. I don't know, I guess. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. And again, it was very different for me. Very different for me. And to wrap up the other story I was telling, when I first saw it, I was really sick to my stomach. I was like, oh my God, this was tough. This was tough to watch. And then I had to separate myself and go, no, you're like watching Goodfellas right now. You're watching Boogie Nights. You're watching one of these movies. You're not condoning this lifestyle or these choices. You're playing a great story that actually happened in a world that's really interesting to people and that they don't know about. And so it was actually something, once I let go of that, like, that's not you up there, separate yourself, I was able to enjoy the movie in the way everybody else did.
How do you feel about when someone plays a part and then the audience, well, some people in the audience, judge the actor for having even played the part in the first place?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like, you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
You can't, and I always say that when people go, oh, what about this movie? You're doing this. I was like, I read this as an actress. Like, I'm an artist first. I'm an actress first. And when I look at these things, I look at them like, is there an interesting story to tell? What does it say about life? What does it say about people? What does it say about me? What does it say about her? What does it say about this character? And what can we find in it that can be... I just think movies are made to make you think. To make you think and to make you dream and to make you feel and to entertain you, but also to make you think. And I think that's important. I don't think there's much more of it than that. That's why we love them, Whether you like scary movies or romantic comedies or indie movies about people going crazy, or these girls, seriously, or about,
That's its own genre.
Yeah, it is. But all of them have a place, like, and we can't not tell all the stories. I think it's just about telling the stories.
We gotta start thinking like these Wall Street guys. You see what they did to this country? They stole from everybody. Hardworking people lost everything. And not one of these douchebags went to jail. Not one.
So we all got to know you. I got to know you when you did the Twilight series, and you were the vampire. And that was kind of a big studio film, and I've done some big studio films. What was it? Was it a conscious choice for you to kind of like, seems like after that you haven't done that? But now you're about to play Batman. So was it a choice to kind of move away from that for a while? And also, two-part question. I'm becoming an interviewer here. Two-part question. Why Batman? Like, were you ready to get back into like that big thing again, or?
I mean, like with Twilight, I never. It wasn't really an established thing. Like to me, like the Catherine Hardwicke, who directed it, had done this movie called 13 and this other movie called Lords of Dogtown. They were like little movies, and they're cool, kind of hardcore movies. And Kristen was in stuff as well. Like she'd been in Into the Wild and some other things. And it was it was very, very indie.
You thought it was going to be like a Lost Boys type of thing.
Exactly. I thought it was going to be pretty. Like, I mean, it's a weird story, Twilight. When it's not just like it's strange how people responded, I think, a lot to, actually, no, I guess the book, they are very romantic, but at the same time, it's not just like, it's not like The Notebook romantic. There's actually something, The Notebook is very, very sweet and heartbreaking and stuff. Yeah. So it's about this guy, like, he finds the one girl who he wants to be with, and also wants to eat her. Like, I mean, it's literally like, well, not eat her, drink her blood, whatever.
Right. Got it.
Something like that. I mean, it's a pretty dramatic.
It's a little bit Romeo and Juliet too, right? Like two worlds that can't be can't be two families.
But but it's not other people telling them they can't be together. It's his own body telling him that he can't be. Which is what made
it interesting.
Yeah, and it's like, and I thought it was there are definitely bits of it which were just like very kind of romantic, but it was kind of, to me, I thought. I mean, I always thought, even the stuff I was doing before Twilight, I thought it was a kind of pretty weird story. And even the way I promoted it, I was very open about like how strange I thought it was when I was doing it. And then afterwards, I didn't make a conscious decision really at all to do smaller things. I just basically kept doing what I wanted to do in the first place.
Right, so you actually wanted to do okay, so this is the question. When you're picking and you're starting out, you just want to do small, important films, or stay away from studio films, or that wasn't even in the thinking. It was just, I want to do good films. I think that's what most people think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand at all. I know that one of my it's not part of my skill set to know what an audience wants at all. Okay. I don't have it. I don't have it in me. Well, not a big audience. I have no idea.
Right.
And but I know what I want. Like, and so the only thing I can really do is try and make a movie which I think I will go and see. And then the chances are there's going to be like at least one other person who'll want to see it. And also, like, I always kind of think, because
there's more people like you out there.
And I was just sort of thinking like, I sort of fell into acting. I mean, I just always kind of, so I've still got the mentality that I think that every job might be your last one. And so I want, if it's going to be my last job, I want it to be something which I think is cool. And I mean, it's kind of cool if what takes you out is banging a mermaid. I mean, that's pretty great.
Right.
And it's like, it's kind of, it's like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, and with Batman, there was something, I mean, it's a strange one for me. I mean, even my agents were like, because I was very, very focused on it. I don't know why. It kind of just kept coming back into my head. And I was working quite a lot over it. I mean, this is like probably like 2 years ago. And even my agent was like, really? Because I normally, it's not really.
You wanted to do Batman, so you sought out the part. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, not like sort it out.
No, but you were like interested.
But I was interested.
You're like, if they're going to do another Batman, I want to do it. Or you knew they were going to do another one.
I knew they were doing another one, and
okay.
then it just really appealed to me, and there's just something. I don't know. There was definitely a part of I don't know what it is which happened inside me, but I was like, I kind of want to do. It's a different feeling when you do something when you kind of know that there's an audience who has. Yeah. There's an anticipation from an audience that's already there, and it's a different kind of pressure. Like I like doing something which is kind of something which an audience doesn't know that it wants, and try to kind of get it out to them, and that's a whole different thing. But like, it's something. It gets there's your competitive part, it's a competitive side as well, when you just know that there's, you know, everyone's kind of going, oh yeah,
waiting.
Oh, you want to play Batman?
Yeah.
And it's literally like, and it's kind of fun. I mean, it's sort of you know, it's the challenge of it is kind of interesting.
You're gonna be Batman.
And that's crazy.
It's so fun.
We were doing something else. Whenever I see the little action figure or something, I still haven't really got my head around it yet.
I think you're gonna be a great Batman. An awesome Batman.
Thanks a lot.
Seriously, because he's a dark character. Huh?
You would be as well.
I would be Batman too. I could be Batman.
Yeah.
Why not? No, because I think he's actually has a lot of.
It's different as well. I mean, I have no interest whatsoever in playing someone who's heroic. The only time I want to play someone who an audience knows that they're supposed to like is when they really shouldn't like them. Like,
Right.
that's the only time.
But there's a drive to Batman of
There's a
why he does what he does that I think as an actor would be fun to explore. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
what is all this stuff and living with the old guy and
He's
you know,
very,
all the things.
very, very troubled
Yeah,
person, and it's
super.
kind of, and you know, there's very few of the sort of a character who's regarded by everyone as a heroic character. Most of them come, you know, they know that they need to save the day and they're saving the world, and they know who they kind of, they know they're good. And I always found it interesting with Batman that he's always struggling a little bit, especially, well, in some iterations of the story anyway, but he doesn't know if he's that great or not.
Yeah.
And that's kind of interesting.
Kind of proving
You're
yourself
walking
all the
the
time.
line all the time. So you're playing at the Super Bowl.
I am.
Are you excited?
I am excited. I think there's not a musical artist in the world that doesn't dream of performing at the Super Bowl. And so to be, able to do that this year is a dream come true.
Have you already put the show together? Or?
I'm putting it together now. I'm putting it together now, me and Shakira together. I think, we're both excited to have been given the opportunity to do that and to stand there as two Latin women in Miami and to kind of bring that
in
flavor.
Miami?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's why, it kind of all worked out really perfectly. And to kind of bring our specific thing that we do and show the world, like, I think it's important in this day and age for two Latin women to be standing on that stage when Latinos are being treated a certain way in this country or looked at in a certain way, to show that we have a really specific and beautiful culture and worth and value, and we bring something to this country that's necessary. And I think that's going to be an amazing moment. My main thing with the show is, like, I want to be so kind of like have the show so dialed in and locked in and be so happy what it is that I can just have fun. That's my goal. That night, I want it to be a celebration of who we are, all of us, because we're in this together. That's how I feel. I want to bring everybody together in that moment.
Are you close to Shakira? Have you worked together before?
We haven't worked together. We haven't worked together before. I've known her for years. And when we both found out we were doing it, we were super excited. And she's like, "This has been my dream my whole life." I said, "No, it's all of our dream." And she was like, "I said we're gonna have a good time." And so we've talked a lot. We're collaborating, trying to figure out, like, what amazing things we can do, because it's actually a great show because they put so much into it, and it's like, you have a budget that you never get to have when you're on tour for yourself. And so you can really dream big and have fun with it. So we're looking to have a good time that night.